Hi, I'm Steve Koski, host of Papa Steve's Rebel 1100 Garage, where we show do-it-yourselfers how to maintain your motorcycle. Let's get greasy.
The good Lord created motorcycles so bikers can get to heaven quicker. Motorcycles are, by design, unsafe. The rider sits outside the bike's hard parts, exposed to random projectiles that range in size from annoying bug splatter to an 18-wheeler. A motorcycle has only two wheels. Until somebody builds a motorcycle with landing gear, a roll cage, airbags, and shoulder harnesses, bikes will be unsafe. Having tried to scare you off two wheels, now I'm going to shift gears and reassure you that Honda has engineered the Rebel 1100 to be as safe as any modern motorcycle. The Rebel 1100 features hydraulic front and rear brakes for stopping power. It has a front brake caliper that grips a hefty 330mm disc, and at the rear another caliper grips a 256mm disc. In addition, both manual shift and DCT, Honda's quick-shifting dual-clutch automatic transmission, feature Honda's anti-lock braking system. When riding around town, in the rain, or on unfamiliar roads, anti-lock brakes help bring your 1100 to a controlled stop, even under less than ideal conditions. The Rebel 1100 features front and rear wheel speed sensors that work with Honda selectable torque control, an important safety feature on a motorcycle that weighs only 500 pounds but produces 87 horsepower and 98 foot-pounds of torque. The HSTC system applies wheelie control that keeps your front wheel on the ground and shortens the patch of peeled rear tire rubber during hard acceleration. The 1100's throttle-by-wire system also expands the motorcycle's versatility. In addition to the HSTC described above, you can choose from 4 power delivery modes: Sport, Standard, Rain, and a 4th mode that's user programmable. Each mode has unique settings for power, P, torque, T, engine braking, EB, and gear shifting, D. Sport mode is for aggressive rides. The P level electronically maps the parallel twin to produce its greatest power output. Sport mode turns down torque control, T, to its lowest setting above off. Engine braking, EB, is set to middle level for greater engine assist during deceleration. And the D level setting revs the engine to the highest RPMs during acceleration before the DCT shifts to the next gear. Because of these aggressive settings, the sport mode ride has been described by some as twitchy. I think of standard mode as cruise mode. It's a tamer, less twitchy ride than sport mode. Engine power P and torque control T, engine braking EB, and gear shifting D are all set to middle range. The effect is that the engine power is reduced. The bike has less tendency to lift the front wheel or spin out the rear tire. The transmission shifts at lower RPMs. Rain mode sucks the fun out of the motorcycle, but that is what you want when the road is slippery and caution is a priority. Engine power P is set to its lowest output. Torque control T is set to its highest effect. Engine braking EB is minimal, and the dual clutch transmission D shifts to the next higher gear at the lowest RPMs. User mode is your choice. User mode factory settings are the same as standard mode. The P, T, EB, and D settings are all in the middle range, but you can change them to fit your riding style. I set my user mode to P, high, T, middle, EB, low, and D, middle. This smooths out some of the motorcycle's twitchy tendencies while providing more power for cruising than do standard mode or user mode at factory settings. Regardless of these excellent rider safety features, the Rebel 1100 has three safety issues that both new and experienced riders should anticipate and be ready to correct. The first issue applies to both DCT and manual transmission 1100s. The last two are native only to the DCT. The three safety issues are the ankle snagger, accidental throttle, and accidental downshift. The ankle snagger can catch you by surprise after a stop, when you've been balancing the bike with both feet down or with only your right foot on the ground. The Rebel 1100's exhaust shield is located too close behind your right foot while your boot is on the pavement. When you start the motorcycle forward, you need to quickly lift your right foot out of the way and onto the peg to miss the exhaust shield. If you keep your boot on the ground too long, the exhaust shield can catch your heel, rolling up your foot between the moving motorcycle and the stationary pavement. You could injure your foot or ankle. In a worst-case scenario, your snagged foot could cause you to lose control of your bike. The problem, which is a risk for both DCT and manual transmission 1100s, would be avoided if Honda engineers move the exhaust pipe and shield another inch or two toward the rear of the motorcycle, or raise the muffler a similar amount. Until that correction happens, you can improve your safety by making it a practice to balance the stop bike using just your left foot. If you need the right foot down, make a conscious effort to return your boot to the peg more quickly when starting the motorcycle forward. Another solution is that some riders might feel comfortable with a wider stance while holding up the bike during stops. Accidental throttle can also catch you by surprise. This is a problem unique to the DCT model. The Rebel 1100s with the double clutch automatic transmission has a hot throttle. By that I mean the engine and rear wheel are always connected and ready to go. You don't need to manually engage a clutch to connect the engine to the rear wheel. Here's a diagram of the DCT transmission. When you crank the throttle, intentionally or by accident, the motorcycle does what you tell it to. Oil pressure to the first of its two clutches increases, which engages the clutch operating first, third, and fifth gear. Then the motorcycle surges forward. Two Rebel 1100 characteristics contribute to this safety concern. First, the 1100 throttle spring is light. You can easily rev up the parallel twin motor while it's in drive by accidentally pushing your thumb across the bottom of the throttle grip. If you've been standing still, the bike can lurch forward when you don't expect it. In another situation, while you are rolling to a stop, it's possible to accidentally rev the engine while reaching for the front wheel handbrake. Accidentally revving the engine will cause the 1100 to lurch forward, even though your intent was to slow down. I don't see good solutions to the accidental throttle problem. I'm reluctant to suggest that Honda stiffen the throttle spring. That would make rides more tiring. So the only other solution I can see is to be aware that accidental throttle ups are possible, and to be a more cautious rider. The third safety issue is accidentally downshifting the DCT transmission. The Rebel 1100 horn button, turn signal switch, and downshift paddle are stacked vertically on the left handlebar switch assembly, where your thumb can conveniently operate them. This placement is a gift and curse. You probably only need the horn button every so often. It's the top button and the second largest of the three. It's colored gray, so it's easy to see, if you have the time and opportunity to look. The middle button is the turn signal. The turn signal is colored black. Honda engineers correctly assume that you would not be trying to visually locate the signal button when you're getting ready to make a turn. Furthermore, it's the smallest button of the three, which belies its importance and frequency of use. But it's located where your thumb wants to naturally go when you reach to signal a turn or to cancel the signal. This placement makes sense for those of us riders who actually use our turn signals, although a larger button, perhaps in gray, might be better. And finally, the downshift paddle is the largest button. It's also gray and is located about an inch below the turn signal. The position of the downshift paddle is where this safety issue sits like a pit viper, coiled, quietly ready to strike when you don't expect it. Picture this scenario. You are riding your Rebel 1100 DCT down the middle lane of a multi-lane highway, cruising with the cruise control set at a slightly scofflaw selected 70 miles per hour. Your exit is approaching, so you need to change to the right lane. You stretch your left thumb over to activate your turn signal, but miss. Instead, your thumb hits the downshift pedal. Nearly instantly, the Rebel 1100 obeys your command, kicks out of 6th gear down to 5th. At the same time, cruise control disengages, and engine braking slows the bike. Even though the DCT automatically shifts the motorcycle back to 6th gear, before you have even identified the problem, your speed is plunged from 70 miles per hour to 60 miles per hour, startling you. Sure, you can react to correct the mistake and regain control of the bike, but someday, somewhere, some rider is going to react badly, or perhaps even panic. Once again, rider caution may be the best solution. There, you have 3 safety issues affecting a motorcycle that is dripping with safety features: the ankle snagger, accidental throttle, and accidental downshift. I don't plan to give up my Rebel 1100 DCT, nor am I suggesting that would-be 1100 DCT buyers rethink their decision. But it's important for 1100 riders to be aware of these 3 safety issues and adjust their degree of riding caution to stay safe. I suspect that the good Lord doesn't really want bikers to get to heaven any quicker.
I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd be delighted if you would subscribe to Cruisin' with Papa Steve. If you don't, I'll be just another codger talking to himself on the internet.